Well, several states across the country have returned to virtual learning for the fall semester as many officials continue to push for students to return to the classroom. I want to bring in the president of the Job Creators Network Foundation, Elaine Parker, to talk more about the importance of returning to school. Hi, Elaine. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, Greta, thanks for having me.
And so you do have a personal interest in this issue as your daughter is a senior in high school. What are the challenges that parents are facing as they decide what's best for their children this school year?
Yeah, so my daughter actually started face-to-face learning today, but I received a text from her in the middle of the night a few weeks ago, which basically she was very anxious about the thought of not going back for her senior year and was very upset about missing senior prom and all of the things that seniors enjoy. And I think what it really did for me and why I wrote the op-ed that ran in the Sun Sentinel is it really demonstrated that she's just like millions of kids across the country that are very anxious of having to do distance learning or the thought of doing distance learning again and what they're missing out on. And the reality is that, COVID poses a very low risk to kids. We know that distance learning has been an unequivocal failure, particularly for low-income kids, kids with learning disabilities. And we have to recognize the societal costs of keeping our kids out of school and weigh that with the risks of sending them to school. And we're fortunate that Governor DeSantis gave parents a choice, and I chose to send my daughter back, and she's really happy to have started her first day.
Now, schools are a vital part of the U.S. economy being able to recover amid the coronavirus pandemic. Many parents cannot work unless their children are in school and face-to-face learning every day. We did see an uptick in jobless claims on Thursday. What impact do you expect to see on the labor market if schools don't return to in-person learning?
Yeah, 1.1 million people filed for unemployment yesterday. We continue to see the virus's impact on the economy overall. But if you look at the last 3 months, as we have seen some of these states take very bold measures in opening up, like Florida, we've brought back 9.3 million jobs in just those 3 months. Our unemployment rate, just a few months ago, we were staring at nearly 15%. It's fallen by 4.5 points in those 3 months. And what we need to look at is that the policies that existed that brought us the greatest economy we've seen in half a century still exist, with the low tax rates from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, less regulations, and just pro-growth policies in general that have helped. Small businesses have really been on the leading edge of creating these jobs. All of those policies still exist. What we need to do is get all of these governors and mayors around the country to stop, with some of these draconian measures that we see where we've got hot spots in one portion of a state, but the entire state gets shut down as a result. We can't hold every city hostage to one city having a problem. We're going to see hotspots. We're going to have to live with this virus, but we know who the vulnerable populations are, and we know how to protect them now, and we should not have to isolate the entire country to protect the vulnerable. We know how to do that now. We know how to take the proper precautions, and we need to do that for the sake of our society and getting back to normal. And that's why we've launched a campaign called flattenthefear.com. And that's putting a microphone in front of doctors who can talk about these cases and the statistics and put them in context for people and help people feel better about going out into society again.
You mentioned those draconian measures, and many of those measures being put in place by Democrat leaders in cities and states across the country. Why do Republican policies benefit the economy more when we're looking to recover from the impact of this pandemic?
Look, there's no doubt about it. When you allow hardworking Americans and small business owners to keep more money, more of their own hard-earned money, that the economy gets better, that, we've seen 401ks skyrocket. We've seen the stock market go up. Prior to COVID, I refer to it as BC, before COVID, we had more jobs available than people to fill them. We had the lowest unemployment rate in every demographic across the board, from women to Blacks, Asians, Hispanics. We're all enjoying a great economy and their choice of jobs. And right now, we're kind of in a different realm. We're in this spot of getting into the V-shaped recovery, but we've got to get all of these governors and mayors on board so that all of the states can open up and we can get back to normalcy for the sake of our society, for the sake of our kids. Like I said, my daughter was thrilled to come home from school today and tell me about it. It's not the same, it's different. But she's appreciative of what she's got right now.
All right, Elaine Parker, president of the Job Creators Network Foundation, joining us to discuss reopening schools and the importance of that for the economy amid the pandemic. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.